I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Oh boy, you could tell Nick G is a newbie. He don't even know how to open up the show. Welcome to the Knicks at Night podcast. I'm your man, the number one chief rockin' Knicks universe. Your main man, Uncle Freezy, in the place to be, talking that talk the way that you like to have that Knicks talk to y'all. As y'all see, my main man, my brother from another mother, Nick G is in the building, and we are going to chop it up tonight about things concerning Knicks. Nick G, what's good, bro?
I'm here, man. What's up?
We alive and kicking, bro. I'm having a microphone malfunction. Can you hear me pretty okay?
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Clean.
Yeah, earlier the microphone was not on its best behavior. Let me just put it that way.
Okay.
So how you been, man?
Hey, man, just hanging. Let me just adjust my camera. Light's kind of bright. Okay. Good, man. Good.
Yeah,
That's
man.
where we at.
Good. Congratulations too, man. I meant to, congratulations, man. So I don't know. How's everybody doing?
Everybody's good, bro. Everybody's
good, man. Good.
Everybody's good. How about you and your family?
Well, the dogs keep eating and playing and knocking over furniture.
Okay, good. Good.
Only lamps and stuff. Only stuff that'll break.
Good.
They don't knock over stuff. They don't knock over stuff that'll land softly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't knock over socks or nothing. They just knock over lamps and stuff like that, trophies and stuff.
Are they chewing on the furniture and stuff?
No, they're too old for that.
Okay, good.
And plus we exercise them a lot. You know what I'm saying? So they don't come in and do the naughty little puppy things because we wear them out outside, let them run. Bro, we in South Carolina, bro.
Yeah. A lot of space, a lot of land.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So we got like 3 or so. Well, I ain't gonna get into all of that stuff, but we got a lot of land for them to run around and get by the time they finish, they want to come back in the house and sleep, do doggy stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So I imagine there are a few things you want to talk about. I imagine you want to talk about Johnny Bryant. You want to talk about Shake Milton. I imagine you want to talk some draft.
Oh man, I don't want to talk no draft. I actually don't pay attention to the draft no more because I feel we're too mature of a team.
Right.
So, but yeah, there's some things I'll talk about, but I want you to lead off. You tell me where you want to start off with, and I'll bounce an idea off for you, and then we could just flow and let it be like water, man.
Yeah, that's what we do. And so for those that don't know, this is how we used to rock back in the days, man. You know what I'm saying? It used to be the Rock and Jock show. Like you were the rock and I'm the jock, or vice versa, whichever one, and just bounce ideas off of each other and just rock into the late night hours. I don't know how much time you got, but we'll just rock as long as we can and then get out of here.
The kids are at grandma's house. The wife is at work.
Okay.
Be good.
Okay.
Be good.
Okay. All right, so the thing that's been the main thing that's been on Knicks fans' mind is this team a championship contender when fully healthy, and will the injured players return in enough time where they can salvage the regular season, having momentum going into the playoffs?
All right.
That's a
That's a tough
complicated
question.
thought, right?
That's a complicated thought, but I have something for it. And I mean, let me just start off with saying this: no, we're not we're not. We are in competition. We are going to compete. We are going to push some team
Right,
maybe to the brink,
right,
especially if healthy.
right, right,
But no, when we hadn't paid our penance,
right,
um, teams that teams that go through championship level, aspirations, they knock on the door way more than we have. We only made it to the second round. If you flip back to Jason Tatum's history and some of the things, something Bill Simmons, I'll just use this. Bill Simmons just said just last week, Jason Tatum had over 1,000 playoff minutes. There's nobody on our team except maybe Brunson, who with Dallas, he had close to enough playoff minutes.
right.
When you start looking up like Julius Randle only played give or take 20 maybe playoff games.
Yeah.
And he's just not close. Like, by comparison, they about the same age or
Right.
in that same
Randall's older,
range.
but yeah, yeah.
But you know what I mean by with the range, like we just need to step back and understand that like these guys need to get experience also, even though they're older players in the playoffs, because the playoffs is a different animal.
Right.
Mhm. So like they just need that playoff experience, and sometimes to me we need um we just need to go through that pain of loss. I always look back at what the Bulls went through the second championship years when Kobe and they won that second championships. Those two championships with Pau Gasol.
Right.
Remember when they lost? I think they lost against the Celtics.
Okay.
And Kobe came back and he had this speech where he said, I just wanted us to be tougher. And he was just like gritting his teeth all freaking season long. And he was just
Right.
like ready to chew on somebody
That's the
like
season.
a
That's the
wolf.
season Ron Artest joined them.
Yep.
Remember when they
Yep.
lost and then Ron Artest met
Yep.
him in the shower after the
Yep.
loss?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was like, and the team got tougher.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I think OG changes the dynamic of the team. And I was just watching the Free Keith stuff that y'all were doing with freestyle. Shout out to them. But when you start breaking down the championship level teams, they always knock on the door way more times before they actually win by
Okay.
comparison to us.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then, like you go back to Larry Bird, and I mean, those were the special two between Magic and Bird. But outside of that, the Knicks from the 60s, 70s, they knocked on the door. They had to tweak, iterate and iterate and iterate, change this guy, change that guy, all that stuff.
Right. And just real quick to the point that you're making,
Mm.
for those that don't know, the 1968-69 New York Knicks was probably the best version of the Knicks from that era.
Yes.
But they were young and they lost to the Celtics, not because the Celtics were a better team
Mhm.
or had more talent. The
Mhm.
Celtics in that 68-69 season had more experience.
Exactly.
Right. And so that's how they beat a young Knicks team. And when and like my uncles and them tell it, I wasn't here, bro. I was somewhere in my pops somewhere swimming around when that happened, right? But my uncles and them told me that the Celtics were like, this Knicks team is gonna win the next 10 championships. Now, mind you, think about what I'm saying. The Celtics of the 60s
Mhm.
anointed the Knicks the team of the decade for the 70s, right? Because the Knicks were that talented.
Yeah,
But to your point, talent doesn't always win. You got to knock
exactly.
on the door. You got to get experience.
But when you lose, like think about that burning feeling of losing that make you come back and try to be better.
Right.
Like
Right.
it gotta hurt you. And the guys that it doesn't hurt, they gotta go.
Right.
So like it makes you weed out the not the guys who ain't built for it.
Right.
You really start like just getting pissed at like just losing to the Celtics, losing to the Celtics. And then
Yeah.
you just come back and you just like, not this year. Not this time. You're not gonna beat me. Look at Detroit Pistons. They lost how many freaking times to the New Jersey Nets?
Yeah. 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 And yeah. I was just talking about that earlier. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals 6 years in a row
Mm-hmm.
and have one championship.
One.
Bro, that right there in itself would drive another fan base crazy. I have some of my cousins are Pistons fans, bro.
Yeah.
And they enjoy the Bad Boys Pistons more than they enjoy the Ben Wallace Pistons.
Mm.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
for one, the Bad Boy Pistons had more personality.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You had your Bill Lambiers, your Dennis Rodman, your
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas, your the coolest nickname up to that point, the coolest nickname in sports, the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
You know, up until that point, the microwave was probably the coolest name outside of Magic. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you got to go through it. You got to go through your ups and
You don't think
downs.
Skywalker was a good one?
Yeah, Skywalker was. Yeah, David Robinson. I mean, Dave.
The
I'm
Admiral.
sorry. David Thompson
David
Skywalker.
Thompson. Okay, yeah.
From the 70s Skywalker,
what was
not
it,
the not Kenny Skywalker. No,
not
I
Kenny
ain't.
Skywalker. Oh, you don't like
No,
him?
I ain't giving him no credit. All he was Obi Toppin, bro. Just Obi
Another
Toppin,
ham
a
sandwich.
dunk contest participant. So, but yeah, man. So you got to go through your ups and downs. You got to go through some stuff. You got to grow through some stuff
Mm-hmm.
in order to understand what it takes to become a champion.
Yes, hands down.
Yeah,
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 and like I've been looking at the Twitter sphere, and I know what you text me, and I know it has to do with a lot of how people reacting nowadays to the kind of free fall and the losses that we have in. But so many people lose the perspective that we're on like fourth string guys, G League guys,
right,
essentially.
right,
Someone brought up Shake Milton just today, and I was just like furious, and I just wanted to like speak to somebody, and I ended up texting you. And it was about the Shake Milton thing, and someone, I think, what's his name? Jonathan Macri just brought up Shake Milton could replace Alec Burke or something like that and be a playmaker, and he's a bucket or whatever. And I was like, this
right.
guy got dropped by how many teams? Was a free agent in, after the trade market, which means no one traded for him.
Right.
Got dropped by his team. He's a good defensive player. Sometimes he could shoot.
Right.
Why no one picked him up?
Right.
Until now. Like, let's put things in perspective. Even Bagley said that he is not exactly a replacement. So, like I just see people just walking off a ledge with the team, and we built up a big cushion with some of the wins that we had.
Right.
We're still in 5th place right now, and we lost how many games in the last 20?
Oh, a bunch. Yeah. What are we like 9-11 or 11-9 something?
I know of the last 7 we won 3 out of 7. Last 10, sorry.
3-7. Right.
Yeah, 3-7 last 10. So, I mean, come on, man. Like we got a big cushion for a reason, and they went hard at that cushion.
Right. Right.
So, competing, getting back to that question, competing for a championship, like you gotta go through the mantle of dealing with injuries. And then these guys that are stepping up off the bench, you could tell me where you want to go with that part, but I'm impressed by how Tibbs has some guys playing.
Right. 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 No doubt. No doubt. No doubt at all, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think this is the best coaching job Tibbs has ever done in his career.
Yeah.
I personally think if Tom Thibodeau wins 12 games, if the Knicks go 12-8 the rest of the way, I think he's the coach of the year in the NBA. And the reason being is because there are coaches that have done outstanding jobs, but their rosters have been perfect, right? Like Dagnall in Oklahoma City, excellent coaching job, right? Chris Finch in Minnesota, an excellent coaching job, right? JB Bickerstaff in Cleveland, an excellent coaching job, right? But and Cleveland has some very impressive. Cleveland beat Boston the other night.
Yes.
Right? So, and they have some excellent wins, right? I honestly think, though, that Tom Thibodeau has done more with less. And you know that's my mantra, right? Since day one that you know me, right?
Yeah.
Whoever provides more with less. The person equipped with the least amount of resources doing more than people that have more resources is the better entity, right? My thing is with Tibbs. My thing is with Tibbs is if he somehow has a very good April when everybody's back healthy, if the Knicks can go 5 or 6-6 the rest of this month, and maybe 8-0 in April, or that's unreasonable, but say 6-6, and then maybe 6-2 in April, right? That's 12 wins. I think Tom Thibodeau is the coach of the year.
Okay, I got the schedule. Can we
Okay.
talk schedule for a second? And we could
Sure.
just like take a quick look at that, because
Sure.
I did map this out and I wanted to touch on this too. So right along, we together on this one.
Yep.
Do we win against Orlando?
The Orlando game is Friday, right?
Yeah.
No. It's in Orlando or in the Garden?
Let's see. The Orlando game, I think
Should be in the Garden.
In Orlando.
In Orlando. We should have probably went to that game, bro. I'm gonna say
It's a league pass game, yeah.
I'm gonna say that game that game is in at the Garden.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's in the Garden. Okay.
Okay, yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say
Okay.
I'm gonna say we lose to Orlando.
Okay. That's what I got too.
Okay.
Philly. So that's a home and away out, if I'm not mistaken. So we got Philly and then Philly again.
I think we sweep them. I think we win both of them.
Okay. In both of them.
Both of them. One's a blowout. One's a close game. Maybe we'll win by 8 or 9.
Now Philly is playing better right now.
Right. Tyrese Maxey is hurt though.
Oh, you just got hurt. Okay. All right. Portland, dub.
I think that's a dub.
Sacramento, shaky.
That's in Sacramento, right?
It should be West. Oh, did we not play them on the?
No, that's the West Coast road trip. At Portland starts the West Coast road trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say we win at Portland, but we lose at Sacramento.
Okay. So I got those two. I got us losing against Philly, winning against Sacramento, and then next game after that is Golden State.
What about Portland?
I think we'll win Portland. I mean, I'm not even counting Portland. Come on.
Oh, okay. Well, we didn't count Atlanta. You saw what happened though.
Well, no. I mean, no Brunson to me. So like,
okay.
That's why.
We're assuming that Brunson is going to play these games, right?
Yeah, I believe Brunson will come back probably against Philly.
Right.
Like they sacrifice that
Orlando game and
that Orlando game, because that's a lot of big body players. You know what I mean? Like that's a big team, and they play very rough and physical. I think they just keep them out that game, and then
and bring him back for Philly. Yeah.
Exactly. Then you got Golden State. You got Denver.
Golden
You-
State, the Golden State, I think that's our revenge game. I could see us legit. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I could see us beating the brakes off Golden State.
Okay.
If Brunson is healthy,
Okay.
if Brunson is healthy, and by that time, if we get one or two people back, like if we get OG back
Mhm.
by that time, and so
All right.
OG should be back in about a week. And
Yeah.
that game that you're mentioning
That's the
is
18th. That's give or take 2 weeks.
that's 2 weeks away.
2 weeks
Yeah.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, so if OG Anunoby is back for that stretch, I'm definitely saying that we're going to beat Golden State.
Interesting. Okay. See, I got us losing that one because I feel like OG will be rusty around that time.
Okay.
I just feel like he's going to take some time to just tune back up. And maybe
Right.
he might be on a minutes restriction too.
Okay.
Yeah. So then Denver, I think that's a loss.
Man, I know it don't matter who back. We can have everybody back healthy. Denver, it has a point to prove to us. You remember how we blew them out at the Garden?
Yes, but see, if everybody is healthy, and I mean like they tip top healthy, not just
Right.
playing the game, I think we beat
Right.
Denver again. Because
Again,
yes,
you know we gave Jokic a black eye last time we played, right?
we'll give them 2.
Okay. Okay.
Because the thing
All
is
right.
like we match up in a way and are physical enough that we could say we'll shut down everybody else and Jokic alone has to beat us. You're not going to beat us with the passing. And the reason why I say you're not going to just beat us with the passing is because right now, this is the first time Thibodeau team I've ever seen that has played passing lanes this well. We steal the ball from you when you pass.
Right. And we switch exceptionally well.
Exactly.
We switch exceptionally well. That's one of when people say Tom Thibodeau is not flexible and he don't make a lot of that, man, people are not really watching or paying attention because with RJ and Quickly, we didn't switch because Quickly was not tall enough to guard up.
Exactly. Yep.
Right. And RJ was not athletic enough to guard down.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
couldn't you didn't feel comfortable putting RJ on Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but okay, but I'm not gonna slow you down. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Because we got to analyze each one. I really think if truly healthy, and look, Randall is like a big part to play with that because he could cook pretty much everybody on that Denver team on offense,
Right.
if healthy. But I
Right.
don't. I really am concerned with his shoulder because he's been getting shots in the low post recently. Very,
Right.
and been very efficient at it. And
you don't know if he's gonna elect for surgery either.
that's true, but I feel like he won't. I feel
Okay.
like he's just gonna like pad up and play through it.
Okay.
And if he is gonna play through it, I just don't feel like he's gonna play the same post game like he was at the beginning of the season when he got really efficient.
Right.
So that makes it difficult to just say, hey, Randall's gonna be what Randall was.
Right.
Now, if he gets injured again, I think, or aggravates something, yeah, he's gonna definitely get that surgery. And that just sets us back again.
Right. But you have to do what you have to do, though. Even though we want to win now, we still have to think about the long term.
Oh, definitely. And Randall, man, I'm just being honest with you. Like the way he bounced back this season, as a side note, like he just impressed me a lot.
He's a cyborg, bro.
Not just a cyborg, but it's I don't want to like utter these words. They're not in the same sentence, but it's Willis Reed-esque. Coming back from injury, how many times? Like he's trying to do those things. He's just not as good as Willis Reed, of course.
Nah, he's not. Yeah,
He's not as good.
Willis is.
He was tip top, like
Yeah.
the best at his position. But Randall, I'm just saying, like he is on his way to becoming an all-time Knick.
Right.
3 All-Stars, all that stuff. Like his numbers
Right.
don't lie. Like he's gonna
Probably would have been all
player.
NBA this year if not for missing so many games.
Exactly. And I'm actually concerned Brunson might not make it too, right? He's getting close to missing too many games.
Yeah. He is.
Yeah.
He is.
I really want him to make it. But if he doesn't make it, on a side note, his next contract's gonna be less.
Right. Indeed.
So that
And from a
actually might pay off in the end.
negotiation standpoint, I mean, it's savvy to bring it up.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's sad, but he deserves the max contract.
Right.
But that might actually work out
In
for
the
the
Knicks'
best for
favor.
us. Yeah. But then after Golden State, Denver, sorry. So this is where I think we're gonna just win out.
Okay.
By that time, I expect everybody to be back and healthy. So here the game. Brooklyn, dub.
Right.
Detroit, dub. San
Yeah.
Antonio, dub.
Yeah.
Thunder, dub. If you want to chime in on that one, you could. Heat.
I think by that time that you're mentioning, Randall and Mitchell Robinson will be back.
Yep.
For OKC.
Yeah.
So Randall and Mitch being back with something to prove.
Yep.
See, OKC will just be playing out the stretch. Like they want to, by that time they'll have like 8 games left to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right. And they'll probably be like resting dudes, whatever. But we will be like
exactly 8. That's good math, Freeze. That is exactly 8.
Yeah.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
I do think they'll have something to prove too, but I also feel like it is a revenge game for how we lost to them. And then with OG in tow, like it's bad enough dealing with SGA, but Jalen Williams too, like that kid is a problem. And you're gonna need somebody like OG, the guy we should have drafted. But that's something else for another day.
We wanted Frank.
Are you talking about Jalen Williams?
No, I'm talking about OG and Anunoby.
No, I'm talking about.
Oh, you talking about Jalen Williams?
Yeah, Jalen
Williams went the pick before us. We couldn't draft him.
I thought we traded a pick right before him.
And then you might be right. Like, no, did we?
Because we had 2.
Because OKC took 2 people, right? They took the guy we drafted, Ousmane Dieng. We traded him to Oklahoma City, and then they drafted Jalen Williams after that.
Something
that sounds about right.
I know we had 2, but we could have drafted him with one of them.
Right.
But we had to get rid of Kimba and all that kind of crap.
Yeah, so. You know what? We drafted Ousmane Dieng, and I was so excited because I felt like that was the player that Tom Thibodeau wanted. A 6'8" athletic wing defender that can shoot the 3 sometimes, that Tom Thibodeau can develop from day one. Right. But then we traded him to OKC and could maneuver around, in order for us to get Jalen Brunson. So I understand why he did it.
And you know what's bad about that one too? At least we bashed them at that time. But if you look at the math, like Ousmane Dieng ain't playing no minutes for OKC.
Nah, that team is super deep also.
Super deep. And he ain't gonna make the roster probably. He might get cut in about 1 year from now.
Yeah, he may.
But that's what happens when
they
you
have
got
an embarrassment of riches.
Yes. They traded Trey Mann, and Trey Mann is actually doing good for Charlotte right now. But
that's my heartstring too. That's my other heartstring.
Trey Mann, you like
Trey Mann?
Yeah, man. I like Trey Mann too.
So I had like 6 or 7 heartstrings.
Okay.
Dyson Daniels, Trey Murphy III, Herb Jones, Trey Mann, Anthony Simons, just to name, just a few of them. But yeah, I felt like
your guy Naismith too kind of panned out. I like how he turned out too. Naismith has panned out. That was your guy too.
Yeah, I was pounding the table for him in the very beginning, sportscaster days.
Yeah, jeez, take it back, sportscaster, Lord.
Yeah. You remember when cats kept telling me about Obi Toppin, and I was like, there's no way the Knicks are gonna draft a power forward, knowing we need a point guard.
Yeah. Oh man. Talk about something that didn't pan out like the way you wanted.
That went in a direction none of us saw, because y'all were asking me, you and Legion of Knicks were asking me about Tyrese Halliburton, and I was like, there's no way I want Tyrese Halliburton. He don't even look the part. Surprise.
Yeah, everybody said he was too skinny back then,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
his shot was goofy and weird at the time. Like, but
Yeah.
it's funny to always look back at that stuff to see who will pan out. But I do feel like if we were to draft some of those people, we would probably be 1 year behind, meaning that it'll take us longer to get back to the playoffs
Right.
because you got to develop those guys. You got
gotta
to give them
develop 'em.
minutes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
But
And so, no disrespect to Obi and what he contributed to the Knicks. I just thought at the time, the best move, I just felt like the best move was to trade the number 8 pick, trade back in the draft, because there were 3 dudes at the back end of the draft that I really liked. Right. I
Okay.
really liked a dude named Desmond Bane.
Yep.
I really
Same.
liked the dude Zeke Naji that went to Denver. And I think the other guy is Josh Green. I think he wound up going to the Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas, yeah.
Right. And so one of those dudes panned out. The other 2 are finding their way. Right.
Mhm.
But if you ask me right now, would I trade Obi Toppin for Desmond Bane straight up? Absolutely.
Twice on Sunday.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Twice on Sunday, man.
But you don't know what you don't know. And that year was weird. It was the COVID year.
Yeah.
And remember,
that's true.
the draft was in November of that year.
Yep.
And so those guys had basically went dark. The
Mhm.
whole draft class went dark for like 4 months. So had no idea who was what.
Mhm.
And so we were just, grasping at straws.
Man, they couldn't even work him out. You remember
Right?
that?
They couldn't even work them out.
They
Right.
couldn't work him out. There was no combine. There was nothing. Like, there was no measurables.
Right. And that's the reason why I say the Knicks drafted Obi, because
Yeah.
they knew Obi, and he was the college player of the year.
Yeah.
And then in circumstances like that, how can you make a mistake on the college player of the year and it's somebody you already know?
So, and that's a pedigree play.
Right.
Dealing with the enemy or the girl that you take to the dance, like it's all that. Like, they scouted him also too as agents, because remember we had Worldwide West and those guys coming in, Leon Rose. So
Right.
they already had the intel, and outside of Tyrese Halliburton, no, sorry, not Tyrese Maxey, that was my heartstring that I was like complaining with people like, why y'all not even looking at this guy? Now, Emmanuel Quickly was not on my radar.
And man, I love Quickly, bro.
He
Yeah,
was
can I
not
tell you?
on
Can
my-
I tell you a little joint just real quick
Go
about
ahead,
that?
man. Go ahead.
So I used to work in a place called Columbia, South Carolina, right at a place right around the corner from a place called Irmo, South Carolina, right. And I used to get off of work and go watch the Gamecocks, right, play. Like, I used to get off at like 6:30, shoot on over through traffic. By the way, come on, South Carolina, we got to do better with this traffic. But anyway. So go to the game, and all the games that I went to, the best player on the team was Emmanuel Quickly. And I used to always think, why don't they give him a shot? Because when I first went, they had a highly touted point guard out of Atlanta, Georgia, named Ashton Higgins. And he looked the part, man. He's like 6'4", blazing fast, quick twitch, jump out the gym. He looked like the second coming of De'Aaron Fox.
Okay.
Right. But Emmanuel Quickly looked like a Chauncey Billups type guard. Right. Like, didn't do everything exceptionally well except shoot free throws. Like, he was kind of good at a lot of different stuff.
Mm.
And so I went to watch the Gamecocks versus Kentucky on my birthday. This was years and years ago, right? They took me for my birthday. We go, and that's the game that I told you before, like when we first met, where John Calipari cussed Emmanuel Quickly out like a dog.
Yeah.
Like, cussed that Quickly so bad that he was hyperventilating. They had it legit. He was leaning on the table. He was so out of breath. He was cussing out Quickly, but he wasn't cussing out Quickly because of what Quickly did. He was cussing out Quickly because the starting point guard, Ashton Higgins, was sensitive and he couldn't take it. Right. So instead of cussing at Ashton Higgins, he cussed that quickly. And at the end of the timeout, quickly looked John Calipari dead in his face, bro. I never forget this. We were like 4 rows behind them, right? He looked that man dead. He looked Calipari dead in his eyeballs, bro. And said, good job, coach, and slapped Calipari on the ass. When I saw that, bro, I was like, now that's a New York City point guard right there, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Fell
true.
in love on the spot.
That's true.
But in terms of Tyrese Maxey, I never saw Maxey do anything exceptionally difficult. Everything he did, it was easy. For Maxey, he was like the third guard. He wasn't the third guard ranking. He was a better guard than them. But in their offense, he was the third guard, right? The slashing ISO guard or whatever. Quickly with the point, and the dude Ashton Hagen, they eventually sent him to the bench, right? Yeah. But quickly on that day when I saw that, I'll never forget. It was on my birthday, bro. Man, when I saw that man get cussed out like a dog, and looked the coach in the eyes and was like, "Great job, coach," and slapped his coach on the butt during the timeout, I was like, "Yo, you know what? He built for it, bro.
That's toughness. That's toughness.
Yeah.
That's toughness. Hands down, like so the Knicks, and I at the end of this exercise too with the schedule, and you could choose. We got to talk about, do the Knicks got a culture?
Let's do the rest of the schedule, and then we could talk about that, because I think that's probably a segment where when we talk about it, I'm probably gonna clip that separately. Okay. And then put that out there on social, on Instagram. I actually want
to do the same thing too, but that's cool. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Schedule. So we had Thunder. So I said it was a dub. You said that was what? A loss?
No, I said it was a win. Because Randall and Mitch be back.
Revenge, right?
Yeah.
Heat.
I think that's a win.
Okay. Sacramento.
We play Sacramento again?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. In the Garden.
That one is in the Garden.
I'm gonna say that's a loss.
That's a loss? Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's a loss. Because of their style, bro. It's because of their style, not because we're a bad team.
So they are struggling right now. I mean, this is like many games from now. They could be tuned up by then.
Right. They're not healthy right now.
So like could they slide continuously, or do they, figure it out and get better at that time?
If they don't figure it out, if they don't get healthy, I think we'll blow them out the gym.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
But at the same time, a primed Sacramento team can beat anybody in the NBA on any night.
That is true. After that, we got the Bulls.
I think we're gonna beat the Bulls all 3 times.
Okay. All right. So that's a dub for you. Bucks.
I think we're gonna beat the Bucks again too.
Okay. You said Bulls is a dub. Celtics. Yeah. Third to last game of the season.
I think we beat the Celtics.
Okay.
All right. It's tough. It's tough to lose to a team 5 times in 1 year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We've already played them 4 times. If we lose to the Celtics 5 times in 1 year, we may as well hang it up.
So that one is the most interesting game, and I feel like we'll put the best effort because it's the third to last game. I know this game has to be nationally televised. I'm not even looking at the schedule. I just look at what I wrote down, but that game has to be nationally televised.
Right.
It potentially could be the first game that we play the Celtics with the team that we have.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like that one is a must win. The next game after that is the Nets. Second to last game of the season. That could be a trap game.
They'll be in Cancun, bro. The Nets are on an interim coach. They're on an interim coach. They're a lottery team. They're not even close to the play-in. I think they're 2 games back of the play-in. I think the Nets legit will be packing their stuff for Cancun by that point. The same thing with the Bulls.
Okay. So, to me, if things work out the way I see it, we're going to win 49 games. And by what you're saying, we're going to win 48.
Okay. And Tom Thibodeau will be coach of the year. If that occurs.
At 48, I thought, okay. To what you were saying, 50 games makes it a
automatic.
done deal, right?
50 games makes it automatic.
Okay. I don't know. I think he has a tall task to go against JB Bickerstaff because they are ranked higher than us right now.
Right.
But every time we beat them and they look punked, like straight punked, like Josh Hart actually posted up or handled Evan Mobley in the post.
Yeah.
Like weak. And you can't coach toughness. Like you can't make guys that put stuff in their chest.
Right.
So, but for me, I think Tibbs has a good argument. But some of these, like they gotta win that last 12. That was solidified for me.
Okay.
You win that last 12, you definitely not, and that's beating the Celtics, the Heat, Thunder.
Yep.
Yeah, and knocking the Bulls out the playing game.
Yep. And think about those. The thing about JB Bickerstaff winning 56 games and finishing as the number 2 seed in the East. Right? People are gonna look like, oh, wow, 56 games. Okay, I see you. But down that stretch that you mentioned, if we beat Sacramento, if we beat OKC, if we beat Miami, if we beat Boston late in the season with everybody back, how can you deny Tom Thibodeau coach of the year when the resume has less wins but more impressive wins on it?
Exactly. And you know what? ESPN's been pounding this agenda that we ain't beat nobody good. That's why I feel like those last 12, pulling those wins off, that would actually solidify our argument that we're a good team because we're healthy. And when we're together, we're better.
Right.
Because like it's unfair the way they judge like Jalen Brunson's too small or Julius Randle needs to get traded. Like it's unfair the way they analyze this team.
Right. And ESPN's gonna do that for the sake of conversation.
Of course.
But they won't admit that we beat Minnesota on New Year's.
Yep.
We blew out Philadelphia on that Friday night.
With Embiid.
Right, with Embiid, everybody healthy, right?
And he had just scored that 70 points, right?
Yep, and So we beat Embiid, and then we beat Denver in January. We beat Miami in January.
Yep.
And so we beat a lot of teams in January when we were healthy. We just started losing the teams when we were injured. And a lot of the early losses on the schedule. Remember, a lot of the early losses on the schedule, Randall was coming back from
that broken ankle.
Yeah, from off-season surgery.
Yeah.
Right? And then Mitchell Robinson gets hurt, and we thought he was out for the season.
Yeah.
Right? Quentin Grimes walked out of 4 separate games due to injury.
Yeah.
Right? RJ Barrett had a knee injury and dealt with migraines in the same injury period.
Yeah.
Right, so we were patching holes the whole time.
Yeah,
right. We were patching holes the whole
That's
time,
true.
and we remained competitive. And I think since it's March now, right? We don't remember what it was like being shorthanded without RJ, or shorthanded without Brunson, or shorthanded without Mitchell Robinson. Right, shorthanded. You remember the Atlanta game where Grimes got hit across the wrist? We thought his wrist was broken.
Yeah, God, man.
You know what I'm saying? You remember when Quentin Grimes got crossed over and his knee buckled?
Yep.
We thought it was a torn ACL. Remember that?
Yeah.
And
so many times. You know what's funny? And I would say this. Let me just make sure I throw this out there. That Miami Heat game, there's only one thing I don't like about that game is that our guys get hurt against Miami.
All the time.
I freaking hate Miami for that reason.
Right. But that's always been them, bro.
I know a voodoo doctor back home.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna stop there.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I know a voodoo doctor back home.
Oh, man, nah, man, we good.
Okay, all
We
right,
good.
all
We
right, all
good.
right, okay.
We
All right.
good. We good.
But we gotta exercise that. We gotta excise that demon though. Like Miami is a hump. Like they are Craig Elo and the Cavs to the Bulls, like,
Right.
or the Pistons trying to get over
Right.
over the Celtics. They are the team that we have to beat to prove to ourselves that we are like true contenders.
Right.
So that Miami game is the most important game out of everything, and also the Celtics. I'm gonna also add that too, because we can't lose to them
Nah,
five
you can't.
times.
Yeah, you can't lose to a team
No,
5 times 1 year, bro. In
and
in
they're
a
the class
regular
of the league.
season,
Yeah,
nah,
they're the class of the league. They're the
nah.
class of the league. You
Yeah,
you stomp out that team, then you put yourself on the map.
you gotta, or you gotta fight them, do something. You gotta show them
Yep.
something, bro.
And you know what's funny to that too? I'm gonna just throw this out there. Beating New York, beating that Celtics team would remind me of the Giants versus the Patriots in the regular season, where they came close to beating them in the regular season,
Right.
and the Patriots went undefeated, got to the Super Bowl and lost.
And lost. Yeah.
And if whether or not we win or win or lose, as long as we're competitive against that team and figure out like how to beat that team or just see the signs, I'm telling you, once you know that they're mortal or know that the god could bleed,
Right.
because this Celtics team is the next level.
Right.
But you need to make that god bleed, man. Like the
Right.
monster has to bleed.
Right. Right. You have to show them that they are mortal.
Yes.
You have to show them that they're immortal, and because if they think they're immortal, they're immortal. They're not going to respect anything you do on the floor
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, you ready for the culture stuff? The
Yes,
culture
man.
question?
That's so big, bro. That is so big. Let's go. I'm excited for this one.
Okay. Okay. What do you want to start with it?
Okay. Let's start off with from the time we got Leon Rose in the building. Or we
Okay.
can even go before Leon Rose. You could
Right.
tell there was an initiative by the staff to get guys that didn't get in trouble, that were good guys that work hard, quote unquote, quote dogs.
Right.
They started to prune and add talent and stuff like that fit a certain mold of player.
Right.
You could tell they wanted to by getting David Fizdale, they wanted something similar to Miami.
Right.
One of the interviews that they had when they got Leon Rose is Leon Rose said he wanted to build Utah. And I thought that was the most interesting thing. And I started doing my research on Utah at the time.
Right.
And Utah had not missed the playoffs in a very long time at that point. They pretty much under God, what's that
Jerry
coach
Sloan.
name? Jerry Sloan. There we go. With Stockton and
Very hard-nosed, tough combo guard for the Chicago Bulls. He played with Bob Love and all those guys, man, in the
Underrated
early
coach.
70s when the Chicago Bulls were making the playoffs. They were a really good young team with Jerry Sloan.
Yep.
And I remember the old as dirt Jerry Sloan in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't remember the young Jerry Sloan.
Okay.
Right? But I remember him being, if I could compare him to somebody, he would be, Jerry Sloan would remind you of, in today's NBA, he'd remind you of a Austin Reeves, Alex Caruso type.
Okay.
And I know those are two different type players, right? One's offensive and one's defensive.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is not what they're good at, but their mentality on the floor.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Tough.
They're not going to give you an inch. Every inch against those players, you have to earn it on offense and on defense. Right? Okay. And so I think the Utah comp was less about uniforms and stuff in the culture.
Definitely.
I think it was more about getting two star players and having them play together for a very long time. And you notice Utah had Stockton and Malone, and the Knicks have Brunson and Randall.
And Randall.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying Randall is Malone, and I'm not saying that Brunson is Stockton, but I'm saying if you go by the template,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you, if you go by the template, if you go by the
power forward guard, yeah.
if you go by the template of Paul Millsap and Darren Williams, anybody remember that?
OG and okay, yeah, definitely.
Right.
I see
Yeah,
it.
Darren Williams and Carlos
Byron
Boozer.
Scott, Byron Williams. Oh, is it Baron Davis?
No,
Baron Russell.
Brian Russell.
Brian Russell. There we go.
Brian Russell. Shandon Anderson, Howard Isley, some Tyrone Corbin, Mehmet Okor, Andre Karolinko,
AK-47, man.
Yeah, they had a bunch of guys, man. A bunch of guys. Enes Kanter. Enes Kanter at the time was
probably the worst one out the whole bunch you just mentioned.
And the thing about poor Enes Kanter, right? The thing about poor Enes Kanter is if he was born 20 years earlier, he might have been a top 200 NBA player all time.
He might be, because offensively he could go.
Offensively, he could do whatever, right? But and rebounding, he could rebound with the best of them.
Yes.
Right? But you get them big men in the pick and roll, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kanter had pause if you want to do this, but he had great hands. He had great touch.
Right.
Like incredible touch, bro. Like that guy, and he could shoot. He actually could have shot the ball well too.
Yeah.
Interesting, but like
he was tough too. He just wasn't a great defender.
Yeah. He had lead feet.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong. I got a homeboy that is very nice with the ladies. He just can't dance. Right. You laughing, bro? No, I'm serious. Don't be laughing at my friend. That's my friend you laughing at, bro.
You laughing too.
Yo, this man up here laughing and on national TV laughing at my friend, bro. That's hilarious. But he was good with the ladies. He just couldn't dance. Like we'd be at a party or something, and the music would be playing, and the ladies would be like, "Come on." He'd be like, "No, I can't. I can't." And they were like, "Why not? Just come on. Don't be a party pooper." And and he'll mess around and have like 2 drinks, bro. And he would be on the dance floor, like half doing the robot and half doing the electric slide at the same time. He's like, "Yo, how you doing? You're a sliding robot? I mean, what's going on?" You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he could not. His coordination. I mean, he could dunk a basketball, bro. He was a good athlete, but he just couldn't dance, bro.
Couldn't dance. Hey,
nah, he just couldn't dance,
bro. I feel you on that one. But you know what's sad? I'm gonna just drop this bomb for the people. Nick G can't do the electric slide, bro.
I don't know what to say to that, bro. I don't know what to, Chad, I don't know what to say to that.
Yo.
What y'all want me to do?
Yo, let me tell you why. 1, I think it's too corny to learn. 2,
electric slide.
2, when I was back home, we never did no electric slide, so it wasn't.
What?
It was never a dance for my people in my culture. So it just never transferred, bro. So when I see people talk about electric slide, like all black people know the electric slide. Well, this one just fell out the whole.
Some things, bro. Hey, your mic muted? Is your mic muted or is that me? Yeah, I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Can y'all hear Nick G? Chat, can y'all hear Nick G? Is it me? Yo, Knicks are nice said, yo, just YouTube the electric slide, bro. There it is.
All right, you hear me now?
Yeah.
I don't know what it was saying it was on, which is crazy.
Hey man, just YouTube the
No,
electric
no, no,
slide,
no, no.
please,
But
man.
see, the thing is, it's so corny to me to learn, just the. I don't even like the song. It
Bro,
just seemed corny to me. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna do it in public either. I think it's corny.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The only dance I refuse to do is the wobble. I don't think a grown man should know how to wobble, bro.
I agree with you.
That's my only thing. And the
So
song is so
I ain't gonna front.
catchy.
I ain't gonna front. I used to do the wobble, but I think it's cheesy too. It's cheesy.
Nick, hey, listen, man. I'm not. Listen, hey, man. I'm all about love, bro. I'm all about the love movement, right?
Yeah.
But if I ever see Nick G doing the wobble, bro, Ronnie lot across the middle, bro. Nah, bro, you can't do that, bro.
Yo.
Because when bro. We got to draw a line somewhere. Chat, don't disrespect to the chat, right? I love all of y'all, man. Y'all know it's about love, right? But y'all better not never see y'all doing the wobble, bro. If I ever see Andios doing the wobble, bro, I swear we got to have an intervention.
Yo,
never, bro, never. There's no situation that calls for a grown man doing the wobble ever.
Dripmore saying, you gotta be drunk, like extra drunk.
Yeah, you gotta be sauced, bro.
I'm telling you, when I'm sauced, I'll do anything, man. I'll be doing the whole thriller dance for you.
Yo, my man did that one night. He is so bad at this man bust out with the thriller.
Oh man.
And we're like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And you know how, like your boys, if that's your man's, you got to go over there and dance in front of him so won't nobody see.
Yeah.
But he trying to split through y'all, like he got his hands up, like he got his hands up like this doing the thriller thing. You know what I'm saying? And you like, no, bro, don't you?
Yo, bro. I remember I scared a date one time doing the thriller dance, bro. Like that ended the whole thing, man. The whole thing. It worked out for the best, though.
And see, Utah Jazz, y'all see what y'all did? If we didn't bring up the Utah Jazz, would be putting my homeboy on blast.
Hey, man.
Wes out there, Wes mad at me right now. Wes out there mad right now. Like, yo, why you putting me on blast on your stupid show? Bro, you the one that can't dance.
Hey, man. Hey, man. I'm with you, bro. I understand, bro. I could dance, though. I'm just saying. I understand the pain.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But the culture thing based on what Leon Rose said, I kind of agree with him that the Utah Jazz and other organizations that are stalwart organization over the course of decades is probably the pattern. My only thing with what Leon Rose said about mimicking Utah is the Utah Jazz have never won a championship.
So that's where I want to go to next. And thank you for going there because they made a finals.
Right.
Multiple, if I'm not mistaken, right? 2, right?
Yep. Back to back.
They always knocked on the door, just like I said. Like most teams got to pay that penance of knocking on the door and stuff like that.
Right.
But this is where the James Dolan, and this is my only criticism of James Dolan. I've always felt like James Dolan wants to build a team so that he could sell playoff tickets and make money, but doesn't necessarily view it as a goal to win a championship. You tell me how you feel about that one, but I've always felt that, and I'm still yet to be proven different on that
one. So
I
think you're wrong on that.
Okay. Please tell me.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I think you can relate to what I'm about to say. People that are successful or very successful, or are the most successful in their field, have unrealistic confidence that if they do something else, they could be successful at that too. Like for instance, I know a guy. He's not my friend. We're friendly, but he's not my friend. You know how you meet people, like you go to your friend's house and there is a friend of a friend there, and like
Definitely.
everybody's doing stuff, and then y'all just wind up standing by the fountain and y'all just talking, like drinking champagne or something. Like,
Yeah.
hey man, so what you do for a living? And the dude said, man, I'm a surgeon. I'm a surgeon, man, one of the top surgeons in the Southeast.
Mhm.
We make a pretty good living or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Uncle Freezy. I'm a duffer. I'm an average Joe asset manager, portfolio stuff, blah blah blah, trying
Yeah.
to make a living. So we strike up a conversation over fantasy football,
Yeah.
right? So we were talking fantasy football, right? And this dude tells me, no lie, right? The dude who's a great surgeon in the Southeast, right? He tells me that he is going to get into horse racing. And horse racing down here, like where I'm at, not where Nick G is. Well, maybe some over there,
Yeah.
but
They
in
got
the
the races too.
in the Florence Myrtle Beach area where I'm at, right? Horse racing, like Florence Myrtle Beach going down towards Charleston, horse racing, breeding, and all that stuff is kind of big. So my man says, he is thinking about horse racing. And I'm like, oh, you thinking about buying horses? He's like, no, I'm thinking about getting on the back of a horse. Bruh.
You a surgeon? And how old?
Like 40. We were like 40 at the time,
Okay.
bro. This
Okay.
is like 15, 20 years ago, right?
Okay.
Right. So my man is, and I'm like, bro, you like 5'9". Jockeys are usually like 5'2".
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Tiny people. Yeah.
he's like, nah, man. I felt like, it depends on the rider.
Mm,
And I'm like, that's like trying to play basketball at 5'9".
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he's like, nah, man, I read up on some stuff. I'm taking lessons. I bought some acreage. We got a staff, we got the tack and all that. He's talking to me about horses, bro. The only thing I know about horses is the one I wear on my shirt. That's it. That's the extent of what I know about horses, right? The horses that I wear on my polo. That's about it, right? So he had this unreasonable. He was excellent at one thing, making high six figures in his job, right? High
So
six figures.
quick thing, like fresh out of school, you starting off at $1 million.
Really?
Back
Okay.
then.
Okay.
Like back then, minimum at a big facility,
Right.
you might
right.
start off at 7,500. Oh no, not 75. 750. Yeah, 750.
Okay.
So that's back then. Now you at like 1 to 1.5.
Wow.
Like easy.
What did we do with our lives, bro?
I'm telling you, we messed up, bro.
Yeah, man.
We messed up.
We started off on the wrong foot, but that dude was so great at his job, right? He was so great at his job that he was well recommended, all this stuff. In the tops of his field or whatever, he felt like he could get on the back of a horse. And my thing is, why would you risk injury?
Yeah, that's the first thing I went to.
Right? Like, why would you risk injury? But people with insane confidence feel like that they can do anything because their whole life they've been successful at whatever they put their mind to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this is the thing I'm about to say about James Dolan. James Dolan is a better businessman than his father. Right.
Hands down.
Right.
Hands down.
Right. Way bigger, way better businessman than his father. Right. But you take that mindset to a sport where you see people playing a sport. Right. And you see these guys playing a sport. And with your background and success in everything that you've ever touched, you think you can just jump in and be successful because success is all you have known. Right. And so with that said, I think that is James Dolan's misstep that you think the business world's translatable skills can be applied to a sport in translatable skills, and they cannot. They can't. In basketball, you have to be a basketball man, right? You have to have. If you're a new owner, like James Dolan was,
Yeah.
what he should have done is hired not business people, right? You hire accountants and lawyers to do that part, right? But hire basketball people to run basketball operations and hire accountants and lawyers to keep the checks and balances.
Okay.
But what Dolan did is he meddled as a basketball person and brought in business people like Steve Mills, who played basketball and all that stuff, and others he brought in along the way, right? Since 2000. Steve Mills is probably the most brilliant executive the Knicks have ever had, but those skills don't translate to championship level basketball, right? Steve Mills is probably one of the smartest people that Dolan has ever hired, right? But does that mean he's great at putting together a basketball team? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so if you combine Dolan's meddling, right, and the fact he was hiring the wrong people, you get the Knicks at a place where it's 20 years of missteps because Dolan doesn't know what he's doing. But he admitted in an interview about 3 years ago the cardinal sin of a young owner, and when I say young owner, I'm saying a new owner, right? The cardinal sin of a new / young owner is that they think their business world translatable skills can easily be applied to a sport and fix it, and it can't.
I want to throw two things at you too, and some of it is psychology to that. To add to that psychology, Steinbrenner really messed up a lot of owners in New York too.
Yep.
Trying to be like Steinbrenner,
Right.
I mean, you could count the New York teams, but especially with the Knicks, seeing how successful he was and how hands-on, like he really did try to put his hands in a lot of things. But the Yankees did win more when he didn't.
Right.
Hands down. So Steinbrenner was a big thing, and I do feel like some people, like the Stephen A. Smiths, the what's the white guy name that
Max
Kellerman, like all of those guys, they hold that past over James Dolan and the Knicks so much because they don't count the learning process that he's gone through and how he stepped back to.
Right.
Because like right now, he's not meddling.
Right.
Hiring Phil was an attempt to get basketball minds and to bring a mindset to the Garden.
Right.
And it was somewhat of a mindset of old, which technically we're doing right now. Like I could actually sit here and say one of David Fizdale's, and I don't particularly like him as a coach, but David Fizdale was from Miami. So that's bringing Miami culture. He was deeply embedded in it. Like one of his biggest terms that he used was chipping wood. Like right now, I think we've done more chipping of wood outside. As soon as he left, we probably chipped more wood, since he's gone.
Right.
And we've done it better, more efficiently with good coaches. Like in our front office, even though Steve Mills was a good basketball, so not basketball mind, but an operations manager. Like our books are clean, draft got, the draft, all that stuff, our draft picks and stuff like that. We've accumulated under Steve Mills first.
Right.
And then Leon Rose inherited something good. It's not like there wasn't work done before Leon Rose came in.
The job was attractive before Leon Rose.
Well,
yeah.
I can't say it was attractive. It still had some, how could I put it? There was still a fart in the room. Like you're gonna show up to the interview, but you're gonna smell the fart of the guys
of the last
left.
person.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like it's not like we just like built, like we continuously built and chipped and kept on building and stuff like that. No, we we were like trying to get that stink out the room. We opened the windows up, but it still was there. Then Leon Rose came in and he brought some fans in. You know what I mean? Like, and we're blowing all that old stink
housekeeping.
out.
Yeah.
Housekeeping and
the first thing he did, the first two things he did, right?
What was that?
The first two things he did was, one, he cut Kadeem Allen. Two, he cut Alonzo Trier. Right?
Yeah.
Right? First thing he did. And I was like, yo, why did they cut Kadeem Allen? We liked him. Well, the reason why they cut Kadeem Allen is because Kadeem Allen was a 28-year-old combo guard who shouldn't have been starting in the NBA. And when I say Kadeem Allen's name, it'll jog, as a Knicks fan, it'll jog your memory. But if you notice, you hadn't seen Kadeem Allen since. Why is he starting for the Knicks if he's not an NBA player? Alonzo Trier, you hadn't seen Alonzo Trier since. Why was he starting for us?
Gone. And you know what? I have to also say this. In that culture building, some people bashed us for the Kentucky Knicks thing that we started off with.
Yep.
Right? But for me, I constantly saw this was a pipeline of talented basketball players that pretty much were still in the league.
Right.
To build on your point, like,
and Worldwide West was familiar with them. Worldwide West recruited them out of high school.
Exactly.
And already had relationships with. He steered them to Kentucky.
To us.
Yeah.
Ultimately, but like there was no pipeline of talent to the Knicks at all before these two.
Right.
Like we couldn't say, oh man, people want to be a part of it. Now we could say that. Yes.
Now we can say that, yeah.
You could say all the stuff about how Jalen Brunson is such and such son, and we hired his daddy. Like, well, guess what? They were savvy enough to do it,
right?
And to pull, they pull strings. We cheated to get Jalen Brunson, to be honest,
right?
And like to get OG Anunoby, we cheated too. But guess what? Miami cheated to get Lowry. And no one wants to talk about it, but those contracts that built the big three in Miami, Leon Rose was LeBron's agent at the time.
Yeah. And Chris Paul. And a bunch of guys. Leon Rose was the head honcho for CAA.
And he was building contracts to build a team here in New York too. But guess what? James Dolan meddled.
Right.
And James Dolan learned the lesson. And he walked back from that. And we're not paying attention or giving one thing I gotta say this about, since I've been in this country, I've realized, or just been on Twitter, and you start seeing something that's a repeatable theme. We are so quick to throw tomatoes and cabbage at someone, but we don't give them praise when they learn their lesson and get better.
Right.
We just hold on to the memory of the wrongs that they do.
Right. Right. Well, stay in the South. People in the South tend to do that a lot more.
Of course.
Right. But people in the big city, are. I'm not. But the big city moves at such a fast pace that people don't have time for that. Everything is at a high speed pace. That and no disrespect to all my people in the city, because I love y'all, man. I'm from Jersey City. I know this firsthand. That in the city you just don't have time to backtrack. Everything is moving fast, quickly. Everything is what's next. Come on, gotta go. Right. But the thing I will say to you is this: I think Leon Rose learned valuable lessons early on, like the Austin Rivers contract. I think Austin Rivers was the first iteration of Jalen Brunson. Right. And I said that multiple times, and y'all have heard me say it over the years. Right. And Nick G, tell me if you heard it. Tell me if you heard this before. His father was a player in the league, and his father was a coach, man, and he's got ties to Tom Thibodeau.
Yep.
And he used to run around the locker room and be around the players. And Leon Rose was his agent, man, and he and Leon Rose go back a long ways. Right?
Okay.
If I ask you who I'm talking about, who would you say?
That I see the
I'm
similarities
actually
between
talking about
you
Doc
talking about
Rivers and Austin
and
Rivers,
yeah,
but it could be applied to someone else, right?
yeah, definitely. It
Right.
definitely could.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that there's something wrong with it. I'm just identifying it, man. You know, the world is full of smart people. Like when I read the chat and all that stuff, and people put smart stuff in the chat, you pick up things. And the one thing I appreciate about having a chat that to have a conversation with is people put information in the chat and they don't hold me to some weird standard of, well, Uncle Freezy said such and such last time. But in between those two times, I may have learned something from Nick G. I may have learned something from Sherwin. I may have learned something from King Imbert. And
Yeah,
through learning something, I take a different stance on it.
yeah,
Because with more information, you have better answers and you can dispense better information,
that's true.
right? Through education. That's
That's
the
true.
reason why we have these conversations and such.
And
So
you know, to that point too, and this is something I love that Leon Rose had built. That year, I forgot. So the year, we're trying to clean up the Kimba stuff, right?
right.
Kimba's gone. He's been traded to
And the
Detroit.
Nerlens, don't forget about Nerlens Noel contract too. Remember, we
Yeah.
signed him.
And
We
Alec
gave him
Burks.
3 years, 30 million, and he played 26 games. And you could tell the Knicks were mad at that dude, bro.
We were irritated.
Yep.
Irritated.
Yep.
But before trading away all those draft picks and stuff like that, so we didn't get Usman Jang and all that stuff like that. But before
Jalen
trading,
Duren, you didn't get Jalen Duren.
we actually added more draft guys or draft scouts to our team. And at the time, I remember when the report, I think Clutch Sports had reported it, we had the largest draft analyst team. And basically, of course, they gave Leon Rose the information. Look, you could draft this guy, you could go after that guy. But they came away with going after Brunson ultimately or Donovan Mitchell
Right.
was the best move. And you know what? I got to backtrack. They did try to trade for Jaden Ivey.
Yeah.
They saw him as being talented enough to give away part of the farm
Yeah.
for.
Right.
Because we didn't have Jalen Brunson. They wanted a guard. They went after him, and they were saying he's good enough for us to try to develop.
Right.
And that was the first time they really put like all chips on the table. After that, it became Donovan Mitchell. That didn't pan out.
Right.
And then they got Jalen Brunson. So
there were some Zach LaVine rumors in there too.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But
Yeah,
Clutch
but
Sports, all
the
that stuff.
plan was to get Jalen Brunson and put an exceptional athlete next to him.
Next to him, that
Right.
was always the plan.
That was the plan. Get
Yep.
Jalen Brunson, get an exceptional athlete to go with them. Now, when that plan failed, they got Dante DiVincenzo, which served the purpose. It just took us longer to get there.
Yeah, yeah.
And Dante is not the athlete that Ivy is, or that Zach LaVine is, or that Spider is,
and
but,
DeJounte Murray too, like,
or DeJounte Murray for that matter, right? But you can see why they wanted a big, rangy athlete to go next to Brunson, right? Because if you appreciate what Dante DiVincenzo does on a nightly basis, like I do, right? You can see all the little things he does on a nightly basis, like the tip passes, deflections, running down loose balls in the open court, forcing bad passes, being able to switch on defense, all these type of things, right? And then now, I think Knicks fans should get excited about this. Now, when you put Mitchell Robinson back on the floor, who's a great athlete, OG Anunoby on the floor, that's a great athlete, and Dante DiVincenzo on the floor, that's a really good athlete. In between Randall and Brunson, you'll see how good Brunson and Randall could really be.
And they're good defenders.
Yeah, yeah.
And they the one thing that I can say, and this is a Phil Jackson thing that he used to say back in the day about building a team. You need to build a team that has a synergy, of course, and know each other. You have to have chemistry. We fast forward the chemistry thing by getting all these Villanova guys. but then also to their skill sets overlaps in a way that we could just trade guys and like not trade guys but swap guys in and out the lineup and still have continuity. But then
Right.
also too, from their weakness standpoint, they could all lean on each other because I'm weak in this area, but you could pick up my slack.
Right.
And no one on the team, it's a baseline fact, no one just gives up or quit.
You know what they call that though?
What's that?
A system.
That
So
is true.
you put the framework of a system in place, right? You want an athletic shooting guard. You want a flexible wing player like OG Anunoby that could play 2, 3, and 4, preferably playing the 3, but could play some 2, play some 4, play some 2 in a pinch. You don't want to start OG at the 2, but during the game he can play some 2, right? Play some 4, right? And then Randall is Randall. Right? And then your centers, all your rim protectors. Everybody else is going to fit in between Brunson and Randall. Right? That's what you want everybody to do. Right? And then now
Yeah.
that you have those pieces in place, you can build around it because you know who's going to be here for the foreseeable future. Now when you go into the draft, you don't have to just draft the best player available because you need to fill all 10 of your or 9 of your rotation spots. You could be specific with a guy. Like if the best player available is a point guard, you can trade back a couple of spots, right?
Mhm.
And draft a wing player. You picked up an asset, you got your asset, but now you have the asset for your rotation, and then you have the asset for the future. Right? And so yeah, I understand what you're saying about the roster building part, but culture is not just about the roster either.
Okay. I got something for that too. So, hang on. Let me just grab my note right quick. I was just writing something on Greg Popovich.
I hope you're using Google Docs, bro. I hope you're not using Word.
I am using Google Docs.
Okay, I was gonna say it's 2024, bro.
But so Greg Popovich, and he had this. It is about 8 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, when he was coaching Team USA. He had this thing where he was talking to a bunch of young and upcoming coaches about how to coach. And he was telling them, like, it's better to get character guys than to build a system or to build like tactics and running plays and all this stuff. And then also too, when you start going down the tier of character that you need, this is what Greg Popovich said. He puts more value in guys who are selfish, who are selflessness. They exercise selflessness, and guys who lack competitiveness. They'll hinder success more than guys who have tactical shortcomings.
Right.
So you just go through the list of players on our team, and this is now down to the 11th and 12th man. Tell me who doesn't fit that mold. Everybody is selfless, or they've sacrificed. They all play.
Have you noticed? Hey, have you noticed the offense? Have you noticed the offense? Like we pass the ball on offense right now without Brunson and Randall. The other guys pass the ball at least 7 or 8 times per possession in the half court.
Yeah.
You rarely see a guy come down the floor and just jack up a shot.
No, they don't.
They pass that thing. Sometimes it looks as if they are overpassing at times, but they're sharing. Right? Is there a such thing as oversharing? I don't think there is.
Yeah. Well, I do think that sometimes some people overthink it, and they don't think, let me just take this shot. Josh Hart is guilty sometimes. Grimes was at times, where they just look to pass the ball sometimes. But if the premise of the pass is to look for a better shot than what you have, I mean, the premise is right. Your mindset or your heart is in the right place.
Okay.
To that point, and I'm just gonna say this, and this is not a bash on RJ Barrett, but RJ Barrett wanted to be a star. I think we all could agree with that.
Right.
And there are parts, even though RJ wanted, I think RJ wanted to be the reason the Knicks were successful.
Right.
That's a good way to say it.
Right.
And I feel like he acquiesced to Randall being better than him, and he stepped aside, to Brunson being better than him, and he stepped aside. But having a guy that played within the system like OG really has opened up a lot of Knicks fans' eyes on, you don't always need the star player to be successful or to have a good team.
Right.
And this system that we have and the culture that we have has many people around the NBA looking at us way differently, and they're saying good things about us. But more than anything else, to me, this is what I wanted after 5 years, to be able to say that, who do we want to go after when a disgruntled star comes up? And we have the assets and stuff like that. And we have an attractive house that has all that fart stink out of it,
Right.
that people would want to be part of.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And man, and I could go down the list on this Greg Popovich quotes.
The,
It's all
the,
kinds
the
of stuff.
Popovich thing I think is fascinating in the team building process.
Mm-hmm.
In the team building process, you ask everyone to sacrifice a little.
Yeah.
Right. It's like during the holidays, everybody sacrifices a little so that others can enjoy the holidays. Right.
Mm.
Like for instance, like, so Nick, I'm gonna just say something wild, OD, right? So for instance, during the holidays, I like to eat at this place called Mio's. I don't know if it's still open or not, but I hadn't been there in like a year or so.
Okay.
But before me and Mo went through all this medical stuff, we used to hit up Mio's about once a month, at least once a month, right? And the reason why we like Mio's is because of the way the ambiance on the inside. Like, it don't look super fancy on the inside, but for some reason it just fit our sight lines. Like, we just like being in there, like sitting by the window. There's a humongous sidewalk, everybody. Like, there's a parking lot, but there's like a huge, like 30-foot wide sidewalk, right? And what it is when you sit by the window, you see people walking by because it's in a plaza, right? And so, you sit by the window, or you sit deep inside the restaurant by the Nick G, what's the place in the back where they do the sushi at? Is that the sushi bar?
I think they have a sushi bar where they make like fresh sushi.
Yeah, so you sit back there you can sit by the sushi bar or whatever, and it's a little bit more crowded back there or whatever. But me and Mo and whoever I usually go to that place, everybody loves it. But around the holidays, we cut down those trips, bro, because now we got to buy, we got to buy Mo Hug Christmas presents and stuff, and you just can't afford, And when I was working in Colombia, I used to go every week, right?
Yeah.
And so, you can't afford that $70 a week every week. You got to start putting that money to the side on stuff, right? Like, maybe you'll go once that month, right, and take that other $200 or so dollars. And I'm talking about the food plus the tip, everybody. Y'all know I ain't sitting in no restaurant eating those $70 worth of food or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You talking about gratuity and all that.
Yeah.
And drinks and whatever, right? And so during the time, you sacrifice in order to share with everyone, right? And I think that's part of the things you have to do as a championship contender. You have to share, right? Like, for instance, your role players probably could be borderline starters for terrible teams like the Washington Wizards. Like right now, Dante DiVincenzo could be starting for the Charlotte Hornets.
Hands down.
Yep, Josh Hart could legit be starting for the Washington Wizards.
Hands down.
Right. And so you ask these guys that could be starters in other places to come off the bench for you because there's a greater goal in mind. And then you also ask the stars like Randall and Brunson, who could probably, in theory, average about 28 points a game
Yeah.
if they took all the shots. But you don't want them taking all the shots. You want a balanced team offense where the other team's defense have to be challenged, right? But
Mhm.
RJ Barrett didn't fit into that. And no disrespect, I'm not shading RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett's a young player trying to establish himself. Emmanuel Quickly is a young player trying to establish himself.
Mhm.
Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, they already went through that stuff with other teams. And now
Yeah.
they're here on Brunson's second team and Randall's third team, where now they just want to win. This is OG Anunoby's second team. This is Hartenstein's fifth team, right? And so these guys, OG Anunoby's second team,
Yeah.
Precious Achiuwa is his third team, right? These guys just want to win, right? And they'll buy into those systems and that chemistry and that sacrifice that you mentioned.
You know what's I don't want to use a big word because I'll probably butcher it, but something adjacent to that is, now this is more grand or big scale. KG, Paul Pierce,
Right.
and Ray Allen,
Ray
they
Allen,
did the same
Rondo,
thing. They sacrificed their careers. Like Ray Allen was
James
just
Posey.
a spot up shooter at the end.
Yeah.
He was a superstar, for Seattle and
In Milwaukee.
and
Yeah.
Milwaukee. Like he was the man.
That man got traded for Gary Payton.
Yeah.
That lets you know how good he was, bro.
Yeah. He got traded for a legend. And the unfortunate part that our guys won't get credit for, even from our own fans, is that while they are sacrificing and, like playing up, they are being played out of their role and position. So, like, Precious Achiuwa probably will be Randall's backup. We were wondering at the beginning of the season who would Randall backup be, but Precious is better at the four. All his numbers at the four has been better.
Yeah.
And then like Hartenstein really can't take the pounding of the bulk of the minutes, but with Mitch and him sharing like 20-20 or 20-30, whatever it is, mixing a little Precious Achiuwa in there, something like that, for playing small ball.
Right.
Like we could actually see some of what we were trying to do with Obi Toppin that Obi Toppin wasn't tough enough to do.
Yeah, he just wasn't a good fit for it.
He wasn't a good fit. And then, like, look, the one thing that so many fans they're so quick to bash Tom Thibodeau. And, I try to give mercy to Tom because he has his ways, yes, but he's brought us more success than any other coach.
Right.
He is just as much a part of the culture change that we've had.
Right.
And I will die on this horse. If we replace that coach, we need to replace him with a Steve Kerr replacing Mark Jackson type coach. Meaning the guy that is definitely the man that's going to get us a championship, but still not lose everybody, still not destroy the culture, because the culture cannot change.
Right.
I was saying to Legion of Knicks, if we go back to some stupid David Fizdale type coach, I'm out, man. I'm telling you. I can't take that. Like, do not go backwards on this.
Right.
We can't just make stupid, rash decisions or just irrational decisions.
Right.
It needs to be like well thought out. It needs to be calculated.
It needs to be a plan.
Exactly.
A plan of succession.
Exactly. So, I don't know who that coach would be after Tom Thibodeau, but I still want to ride this wave as long as I can. Of course, guys' kneecaps gotta stay healthy, because Tom would play you some minutes, but at the same time, it's like it's still a culture though, because these guys are still playing hard.
Right. Right. No doubt. No doubt. I'm with you on it. I'm with you on it, bro. I I think there is a plan of succession in place. I think is Johnny Bryant.
Johnny Bryant, okay.
Right. And also if you notice the assistant coaches hadn't changed much in a couple of years. No. Right. After Woody left, after Kenny Payne left, That was about it. But those guys wasn't here to stay for the long term anyway.
Nah, they weren't. They weren't.
They were here to get the party started and then move on. But the other coaches, they're here, right? They're here for the long run, and so if it's one of those things where you're building a coach from, well, let me speak to the Johnny Bryant thing first. If you notice, all the coaching vacancies, right? Nobody has interviewed Johnny Bryant.
Nope.
Right. Think about it, man. The Brooklyn job, the Bucks job, the Portland job, the Pistons job would have been perfect for Johnny Bryant. Right. Who else had a job opening? Phoenix had an opening. The Lakers had an opening.
Yeah.
Philly, Toronto had an opening. Toronto had hired a rookie head coach, just like Johnny Bryant would have been a rookie head coach. Right? And so with all these teams interviewing, nobody interviewed Johnny Bryant, which makes me think that Johnny Bryant is the heir apparent to Tom Thibodeau.
I got something for you too.
That vessel looks expensive, bro. Was
Bro,
that like $70?
Oh, stop it, man! It's like $5 at 5.
Oh, whatever, bro. Don't Temu me, bro. No, I got it on Temu. No, you ain't get that on no
Shoot,
Temu,
I'm
bro.
getting
Stop
cancer
playing.
every time I take a sip, bro. Come on. But I was going to say something to add to your point with Johnny Bryant. G-Mo had something on Johnny Bryant, I think. There are a lot of people who had it, but he was a skills coach.
Right.
And I want people to take a look at this. Look at the numbers of Dante DiVincenzo at the rim.
Right.
That man could not make layups before this year with the Knicks.
Right.
IQ never used to make much layups either.
Right.
He
Right.
progressively got better.
Yeah.
It was an initiative from Tom Thibodeau to add floaters to everybody's game.
Right.
Hands down, everybody added a floater, and it was the most efficient shot from the Knicks for like 2 years. Precious Achua, like his skills, we've added way more skills and stuff like that. Sorry.
You getting emotional, bro?
Huh?
You getting emotional? You about to cry?
No, man. I just
Chad,
The
Nick G is up
popcorn is
here
stuck in my
breaking.
throat, bro.
He about to. Nick G up is about to cry over Tom Thibodeau floaters. you getting
stupid,
emotional, dog? What's happening?
You're stupid, but I'm about to cry though.
Yo, that's funny.
That daggone popcorn stuck in my throat. I had to eat something, bro. I ain't eat all day.
Yeah, man.
But Jalen Brunson, he was never really a pull-up shooter.
No,
All of a sudden, he's one of the best pull-up shooters in the league.
from three. I think that man
From three.
averaged 3 3-pointers a game before he got here.
Before he got here.
Yeah.
Randall listens to Kenny Payne. Oh, not Kenny Payne, but
Johnny Bryant.
Johnny Bryant. Damn, that popcorn got me all off.
I
But
was gonna say Tom Thibodeau, man. I didn't know you and Tom Thibodeau were that close, bro.
but Tom is I think Tom really is grooming him as well,
Right.
because he's not part of his original staff.
Right.
And then if you go like with Johnny Bryant's past, he's also been Dame's skills coach. He's been Donovan Mitchell's skills coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he has a lot of history with building guys' skills. So if they ever hit the reset button, letting Tom go or letting them move up into the front office or whatever, I think Johnny Bryant is really going to do big numbers. And when he got hired, there was talk that he brought Utah's playbook from Quinn Snyder. Quinn Snyder's playbook, which is a very good offensive coach. So
he's a very good offensive coach, everybody.
And
did you see the double stagger he ran the other night with Atlanta? He ran the
No.
double stagger at the top of the key and got wing defenders wide open, wing scorers wide open
Wide
on the same play over and over and over again.
Uh,
I can't remember who they were playing. It wasn't us. It was the
Mm.
game before us. I think it was against Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, because they
Yeah, I
played
think it was
Brooklyn
against
twice.
Brooklyn. They kept running the same play, and Brooklyn couldn't figure it out because it was something they hadn't seen before, right? Because I think they stacked two people, and it looked like the two guys were gonna attack the rim, but one guy looped around the other guy headed to the rim, and he was on the wing for three, and Brooklyn kept and dropped coverage. They dropped the guy, and the guy responsible for the wing guy was always like 5 feet away, and they could just get that shot off.
Side note around the league. Do you think Atlanta is better without Trae Young? I know you talk to Atlanta people, so
What do you mean by better?
like
Are
trading.
they playing better? Are they playing better right now without Trae Young? Absolutely.
If they trade Trae Young, do they end up being a more competitive team than keeping
It
Trae Young?
depends on what they get in return for Trae Young.
Okay. All right.
Right. So if you're asking me, what if you trade Trae Young to Phoenix for Bradley Beal? Right. And now you have DeJounte Murray, Bradley Beal, Jalen Johnson, and Atlanta. Does that make them better? I think so. I think so, because now you can move DeJounte Murray back to point.
Okay.
Right. What about if you trade Trae Young to the Lakers, does that make Atlanta better? Absolutely not. The Lakers don't have anything of value that they can give Atlanta.
Okay.
Right. What if you trade Trae Young to Chicago, right, for Zach LaVine and something, right? Is Chicago better? Absolutely, because now you can play Kobe White at the 2 and Trae Young at point, right? And you can in theory, start all over. But what about Zach LaVine and DeJounte Murray in Atlanta? I don't know how that works. Right?
I like that one for Atlanta, but I don't like it for Chicago because Kobe White has been playing a lot better.
Yeah, he's struggling. He's struggling right now. He had like a mini slump. But yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Once Zach LaVine went down in December, Kobe White had been balling.
Yeah, he had been balling.
I think the NBA is catching up to him a little bit because it's like his second time around the NBA now, and people kind of know what they expect. But yeah, he's a baller. He's a hooper.
Okay.
So would Atlanta be better without Trae Young? If you trade Trae Young to Orlando and you get some assets from Orlando, maybe. If you trade Trae Young to New Orleans, and so you keep Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Zion, maybe give Brandon Ingram to Atlanta, and now you have DeJounte Murray, Brandon Ingram, and Jalen Johnson. I think Atlanta may improve.
Yeah, that's lethal.
Yeah,
I like that for Atlanta.
Yeah,
because I don't feel like Ingram and Zion mix.
No,
well.
I think Trey Murphy is about to be better than Brandon Ingram.
Really?
I think I'm talking about overall. I'm not talking about just scoring, not just putting the basketball in the hoop.
Yeah, I mean defensively he is definitely better, but
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's interesting. I just wanted to do a quick around the league, like some of the things.
So what about around the league for the Knicks? Is there a move this summer that turns the Knicks from a nice story into a championship contender for the next 4 years? One move, like one player.
I mean, there's always one player we could get and it'll flip us completely. We trade for Jokic and we're immediately championship contention, but
immediately, yeah.
So this is my take on that. Everybody's on board time as long as the Knicks are sitting on these assets.
Right.
The reason why is because, okay, like the Doc Rivers thing kind of flipped on its head recently.
Yeah, you knew that was coming though. He's too good.
He's too good of a coach, and he's a person, or
Yeah.
players coach. But if that was to be like, let's say, a legendary fall of a team that's competitive, then Giannis could easily say, "I just want out."
Right.
And Randall for Giannis is a definite for me. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to give up Randall, but I mean, give him up. It's Giannis.
Right.
And then you just keep going down the list. I really just this is my take. Embiid is not a player that I want right now because he's just
No.
so unhealthy.
No. Under no certain. No, because a big man with that many miles at the age he's at,
Exactly.
he's at that Pat Ewing age where you're like his reputation is about to start outweighing his value.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so in order to get Giannis, you're talking about trading like 5 draft picks, 2 young players, 2
Not worth it.
starters for a
Not
dude
worth
that's
it.
probably going to play 55, 60 games a year.
And that's the bad part. You actually better put him on ice all season and then wait until the playoffs start. And even then, he could slip on soap.
Right. And but then again, are you gonna give away 5 draft picks,
and
2
2
young
starters.
players, and 2 starters for that?
2 starters is immediately where we start losing games. Like, because that's the thing people don't look at when it comes to trade. Because a lot of Knicks fans, and I know you know this, but a lot of Knicks fans are impatient and they want the next move. They want to be hoisting that trophy and parading and bing bonging wherever they bing bong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cross the street.
It's so ridiculous.
Come out the golf course, cross the street, and hang out talking about bing bong,
and screaming at reporters and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is like there's not many guys that I could see that really just transform.
I got one. I can name one. I can name one right offhand. I can name 2 actually.
Okay.
One Knicks fans love and they bring them up every day, and the other is under the radar.
Give me the under the radar guy first.
Anthony Simons.
Sheesh. I didn't think you would have gone there.
Yeah, Anthony Simons, because what he does is of course you want to keep Dante, right? You're gonna ask Dante to come off the bench, right?
Okay.
Right. So you ask Dante to come off the bench, but you know what you do though? You open up a avenue in your offense that you hadn't seen before. When in theory you have 2 combo point guards, right? Because Jalen Brunson is a weapon more than a point guard, right? Like Jalen Brunson is not going to get you 15 assists in a game, right? And neither is Anthony Simons. But what both of them do is they are lethal scorers that can play make off their scoring, right? And what people don't notice too is if you've noticed Jalen Brunson's 3-point diet this year, Jalen Brunson is being smothered defensively on 3-pointers. I mean, smothered from 3-pointers, right? And that's because nobody creates a shot and kicks out to Jalen Brunson for 3. Jalen Brunson doesn't get the chance to play off ball. But if you get Jalen Brunson off ball 3-point looks, you're talking about a dude that can shoot 47% from 3. He did it last year.
Yes, hands down. He was doing it at the beginning of this year, but
yeah, and then things slowed down. Yeah. And so the thing is, I'm not saying move Jalen Brunson to the 2 so he can take 10 threes a game. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is in the event that Jalen Brunson doesn't have it, right? You have another guard on the floor that can keep the floor stretched, right? You can keep the floor stretched. Anthony Simons is a deadly shooter scorer. that play makes off of his scoring ability. And they do it in different ways too. Jalen Brunson does it through craftiness, and Anthony Simons does it through flat out athleticism. He's faster than you. He's stronger than you. He can jump higher than you. He's more agile than you. And he's one of the only people that have been in the NBA dunk contest and in the NBA three-point contest in the same year. Right? It's kind of like what they were trying to look for in Jaden Ivey. Right? And no shade on Dante DiVincenzo, because I like Dante DiVincenzo. That's my heartstring. I like Dante DiVincenzo a lot. Right? But what I'm saying is if you can upgrade with the Anthony Simons by just offering Bogdanovich, Burks, and several draft picks, I think you got to look at it. And the second player, just real quick, because I got like 10 minutes, man, before I got to get out of here. But the second player, real quick, I think is Devin Booker. Every time you say Devin Booker's name, New York fans start daydreaming, bro.
That's true. And this thing with KD ending makes it tough for him. But, and this is the thing where things could always fall apart for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm like
fall apart for us
at any point in time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Devin Booker thing is too easy. Right? Any NBA team could use a Devin Booker. Devin Booker has already put together a Hall of Fame career. In my mind.
Can I give you one that is of the same vein?
Okay.
But to me, this player basically could just turn a corner with us, getting them into the right system. And that's Jalen Green. I think Jalen Green could do some of your Anthony Simons stuff, but he's been so part of losing culture that he may end up being just passed on or just passed off. Like, this guy is nothing but a 6th man of the year candidate.
Right.
For a couple picks in the offseason, something like that. His contract ain't really much. We could definitely make some swaps with that. But off the bench, he could be a quickly type. But I think Thibodeau could be the one to bring out the defensive side of him, because he's still a high IQ basketball player.
Right.
But I would go with Mikal Bridges would propel us the most. Hardest one to get from a contract standpoint, because you wouldn't want to give up as many players. But, Bogey and Burks could actually make it work.
Right.
But hands down, Mikal Bridges, because to me, I constantly, and this is why I don't look at us as competitive this year. I just don't see what we have competing with Jalen, with the Celtics guards or wings. Tatum is just too good. I think OG can slow him down and play well against him. But the neutralizing factor, if you add him in, is Mikal Bridges to me, hands down.
Right.
That would be the biggest move. That's all the chips on the table. I'll go after that before I go after anyone else.
I think the Mikal Bridges thing, excuse me, y'all. I think the Mikal Bridges thing is interesting in that I don't think he's as expensive as what people think. Right. And I also think the compensation is relative to whatever team is doing the offering. Right. Whereas our draft picks are not top of the draft picks, but we do have a lot of protected picks. Like, we have the Milwaukee 2025 pick, we have the Dallas 2024 pick, we have the Detroit Pistons and Washington Wizards first round picks heavily protected. Right? If Brooklyn is, for instance, if Brooklyn is interested in 5 Honda Accords versus 1 Mercedes-Benz, I think, we have the 5 Honda Accords that we can give Brooklyn.
Yep.
Right.
And to be honest with you, with the Dallas pick, just real quick, that Dallas pick is projected right now, if the season was to end, at 15. Our pick is at 20. So a 15 and a 20. Like there's ways and avenues, and we have sweeteners. This is why they think of us as being dangerous.
Right.
Like giving them guys that they could just cut for 2 picks, 2, 3 picks or whatever.
Cap space. We can give
And
them
cap
cap
space.
space. Yeah.
Because the league is just getting more and more expensive, but to Kerry Cox's point, he said nobody wants picks. The thing is,
once those picks is what he's saying.
oh well, I mean, the thing is like
It
Brooklyn
depends.
don't
If you
really
want a
have
Mercedes
talent,
Benz,
though.
of course, 500 Honda Accords is not going to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You talking like you want a Bugatti, but you gotta. Brooklyn, when they first started off, they were doing moves like that, like trade this guy, get a couple picks, get a couple players here and there that they could play, and that's how they rebuilt the first time. That GM hasn't left,
Right.
so doing the same thing is basically the avenue. Like Brooklyn doesn't have an avenue to getting to a championship no time soon.
And plus, you can take. Who would be interested in those picks that we have? OKC. See, because OKC is in a situation where they built their team through the draft with Chet, and I know SGA was a first-year player when they got him, but I'm just going to say SGA, because SGA was drafted by the Clippers and played for the Clippers for a year.
He played for 1 year,
right? But you're talking about SGA, you're talking about Chet, you're talking about Giddey, you're talking about both Jalen Williams. Cason Wallace, the new guy they got, Cason Wallace, is a baller.
Yeah, he's a baller.
Right. And so, but what happens is those guys, they're nice pieces now, but when they become young veterans, you have to start paying those dudes.
Exactly.
Right. And then when you have to start paying those dudes, right, are you going to pay those dudes and still go to the draft and draft 2, 3 more guys every year?
Yeah, no. they gotta get rid of draft picks.
Yeah, so if you're in New York, right, and you see Oklahoma City is picking at 8. I know their pick won't be 8.
No.
But say one of the draft picks that they select or one of the draft picks they own is 8.
Okay.
Right?
You actually almost close because one of their Houston picks this year swaps at 9.
At 9. Okay. So say it's 9. Hypothetically,
9,
right? So pick at 9. You can offer OKC, right? Those two heavily protected, the Pistons and the Wizards pick for that number 9 pick in this year's draft. And then the Knicks could replace Alec Burks or Bogdanovich with a young player out of the draft. That way, when OKC does the trade, they don't have to draft now. Those picks that they got in compensation are pushed back a year or 2. So now they can still pay their guy and not worry about all these guys in the draft.
Hands down.
But the thing is, OKC is in that dangerous situation like Boston was a few years ago, where if they can't make the move, remember they had Tatum, Brown, Smart, they had Semi Ojeleye, they had Garciel, whatever. They had Aaron Nesmith, they had Romeo Langford, Robert Williams. Remember all those draft picks they were making?
Yeah.
RJ Hunter. You remember RJ Hunter?
Yeah.
When they were forced to draft guys.
Yeah.
And so Boston let their draft picks rot on the vine. Everybody around the league is watching how those Boston draft picks rotted on the vine. And so they'll be proactive when it comes time, even if they have to take a haircut, or a reduction in price, you know what I'm saying, or a reduction in return in order not to waste the draft pick totally.
And New Orleans falls into that too, because they got a ton of other people.
Because they're not going to be able to pay Zion, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. They just got a kid this year out of UConn, Hawkins. They got Alvarado on a cheap sweetheart deal.
Yep.
Najee Marshall.
Yep.
They have all those guys that they want to play. Somebody's going to have to get paid.
and somebody's gonna get cut because this cap, and I know you gotta go, but the cap really, once you cross the 185, I think, mark, you can't make no moves.
Man, OKC ain't even getting close to that, bro.
Well, not now, but the chicken. The chicken is gonna come home to roost. Like,
yeah, they'll trade somebody first.
They have to.
Yeah, they're not gonna. OKC is one of those teams that will not pay the luxury tax.
Yeah, they're too broke.
Yeah, they're not gonna
cheap.
do it. And New Orleans also.
Yeah,
New Orleans too. You can't go to New Orleans and say every $1 counts as $3, and they're 30 millions over the cap, and so they're paying a $60 million cap bill. They're not doing that.
They're not doing
That's
that.
their total profits for the year.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, they not doing that.
Pretty much. Heck, playoff tickets is probably like $200 in New Orleans.
Right.
Like,
and you can sit right beside you and Zion sharing the same water bottle. Hey, there you go, bro.
You want some popcorn, bro? I know you're hungry. You want this hot dog?
Hey, yo, just real quick, we went to the game, bro. The app was saying $400, and I was like, man, I ain't paying no $400 in New Orleans. No, now in the Garden, if I paid $400, I'll be sitting on top of the Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I get it. I get it.
Yep.
Right.
Hands
But $400 in New Orleans, I was like, yo, we got to do better. We got to do better, man. We got to do better. And bro, we sat like 2 rows behind the players, bro, for like $288. We were like, bro, legit, you could hear their huddle. That's how close we were for like $288. $288 a piece, everybody. Not $288 for between 4 people. So we paid like $1,100 something or something like that. So
I went to Charlotte to watch the Knicks one time, and man, it was like $40 almost for floor seats.
Yep. And Charlotte is very entertaining too, man. They have that on the inside. They have it jumping in there. You know what I'm saying? For those that Charlotte is very family friendly, but they're not as. I don't think they're as good as Atlanta. I think Orlando has the best family atmosphere of anybody.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Orlando, bro. The mascot show up. That's the hardest working mascot, bro, I have ever seen, bro. That mascot just show up on your row. You're like, holy crap, what you doing over here? You know what I'm saying? It's weird, bro.
With you, bro.
Like, damn, you always, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
Man, good stuff, bro.
All right, man. That's all I got, man.
Yeah, I know you gotta be up early, bro.
Yeah, man. I got homework to do. I got like 4 hours worth of homework that I have to do.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get off and do that, man, and then jump up about 7:30 and then get my day started, bro. You know how it is. The grind don't stop, bro.
Man, bro. I swear you be working on the railroad, bro. Like
Don Henry. Yeah, man, you gotta work, bro. You gotta work when you can, bro. You gotta because one day I'm not gonna be able to.
Yeah,
you know
that's true. That's true, man.
So,
I know Mocha is like, man, let my people go, bro. Like,
go tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Yeah. So yes. Yeah, man. But thank y'all for watching. We're gonna get out of here, man. I'm gonna try to get some of this homework done before I jump up and make some of these calls at 8:00.
If you want, man, just send me this video and I'll chop it up too, man.
I got you. I got you. You got text me your
email,
your things. So I can do the Google Drop.
That's cool.
All right, boss.
I'll text you. All right, man.
Hey, thank y'all for watching, everybody. We out.